Good afternoon. For this month's Tech Tip Tuesday, I'm going to talk about Specdrums. Specdrums by Sphero are small, wearable pieces of technology with built-in optical sensors to pick up the color of an object or surface and translate it into sound. Be on the lookout for more information on Specdrums in our May mini issue of the ArkMEA Journal. Now, March is Music in Our Schools Month, but it is also National Youth Art Month and contains Read Across America Week. So at my school, I completed a cross-curricular unit on how color relates to sound with my art and library teacher. I am super thankful for my amazing librarian, Crystal Burks, and art teacher, Joella Peck, here at Parkway, who allowed me to borrow the Specdrums and iPads to do these projects, and who also are always up to working collaboratively. We also studied the neurological condition synesthesia, which many great artists and musicians have. The unit began in library, where students learned about computer pixels and how computers detect and display colors using RGB. In art, students learned about synesthetic artists and created artwork in the style of those artists. In music, we learned about synesthetic musicians, but it's also a great opportunity to talk about tone color and how colors can be used to represent emotions in music. In all of the classes, students had a lot of opportunities to create and compose with Specdrums. So let's get down to how you can use Specdrums for music. So first, the Specdrum ring connects to an iPad through Bluetooth. So I open the Specdrum app. Now I'm going to make sure my ring is connected, and it is connected. I will say the one thing about these is they are not labeled, so if you do have a class set of them, I do suggest getting little labels for the Specdrums so students can find the ring they have. And now that it's connected, so students can use the multicolored map to play sounds, but they can also touch any surface that corresponds to the 12 colors the Specdrum recognizes. After pairing the Specdrum ring, I can choose the type of sounds I want in the library. My kids really enjoyed the electro dance sounds. So see, you can touch any color on the map. You can also just use your finger. Now, I just presented quarter notes, paired eighth notes, and quarter rests to my younger elementary students, so this is one idea for them. Students could read or compose rhythm patterns and play them with the Specdrum. So let's say that I have my students write out on their whiteboards just a regular rhythm pattern, very simple, and they can go through and play it on the Specdrum. Now the cool thing about this is you can also add the loops in the background. And students have a lot of fun combining all the loops. And you just tap to turn them off again. So that's one way that students could use it to practice rhythm patterns. Now, for this next activity, it's important to find a mix in the library that's diatonic. They all aren't. Some of them are just drum sounds. So for this one, I have students use the cinematic because it stays in the major scale. So my older students are working on tonal patterns with do, re, and mi. So instead of using the mat, I made worksheets for them and little manipulatives for those tones, and I'm just going to make a quick pattern. And then of course the ring will pick up the colors of whatever it touches. Now students can tap on the screen with their finger, or I have these dots in the style of Wassily Kandinsky, and if you ask them your elementary teachers, they may do Dot Day, which is the dots by Wassily Kandinsky, and you can play those. But a lot of my students just enjoyed playing the manipulatives themselves, so. They could simply just play whatever pattern they come up with. I think this helps some of my kinesthetic learners better understand how the notes relate and with touching them. Now, they can also add the loops in the background. Now, since spectrums pick up the color of objects, students also really enjoy walking around and tapping on objects. So, for example, I have just a book. So, I hope you enjoyed this tech tip on spectrums. Make sure to check out the May issue of the ArkMEA Journal for more information. Feel free to contact us with any topics or tutorials that you would like to see featured on our Tech Tip Tuesdays.